the beginning of a journey in training or coaching, there's a kind of invisible shroud. It's like for the Harry Potter fans, it's like the Dementors kind of sitting over Hogwarts. And that shroud is, who do I believe I can become? Because that, unless you really get clean on that and you can see that, it's just going to be like a shroud that's going to limit everything else. You can do as many courses as you want, but you're not going to develop and grow past that, because there'll always be some kind of barrier that you self-imposed that stops you going any further. And that's really my sense of the ontology, which is we're not trying to change people, and I don't think you can anyway, but what we're trying to do is have them see how they see. Notice what they notice. Notice where they're drawing the line. Notice what they're deciding about themselves, about people, about the world, relationships, and have them notice that, because there's nothing, everyone does that. We all do that. Right. We all draw the line somewhere. The question is, what's the consequences? Is it productive? So it's not for me to say where you should draw it, but you are drawing it. I draw it, you draw it, we all draw it in different parts of our lives. And there's always consequences. And a lot of people, that it becomes invisible, and they begin to think, well, it's not my line, that's just the line. That's it. The line exists in the world, but it doesn't. The line exists in how I'm seeing the world. So that's a rather long-winded answer to your question.
And I'm really curious now, because this is the thinking behind, and you're taking it to the corporate world, you're taking it to the leadership team, you're taking it to the organizations you're doing, just living in the world. And in that world, KPIs, targets, all of these is what we really talk about, especially when you're working with a leadership change perspective. How are you able to bring this thing in those sessions?
That was really why TWP employed me at the beginning, because there was a guy called Mark Hempstead who was the founder of the Southeast Asia part of the Works partnership, and he was also ex-Unilever, and he was an auditor. I mean, you don't get much more corporate and business than an internal auditor, finance director as well. And I think he saw a kind of kindred spirit in me, and so me and him for many years, that was really what we worked on, which was we both had a love of the public work, non-corporate, but what we also had a passion for was creating results in business. And so I think in terms of making that link, the easiest way I think to make that link for people is to give them something specific. It's like a specific way in. So we can talk generally, we can talk philosophically. But it's essentially, and the one I tend to use nowadays is we talk about trust, because everyone's heard about trust, people want to talk about trust and psychological safety, et cetera, and say, well, look, in a team, let's say we're talking with a team, you look around, do you really believe that the person across from you has got your back? Have you got their back? Do you trust that they, for example, are really committed to this team? Because as you'll know, so many teams actually have all these matrix management. So you've got an HR person, as an example, they report to the team leader, but they also report to the HR director who's not in the team, and they've got a functional line and they've got a P&L
it's a very
line.
common scenario. Yeah.
So I often find that's an easy way in for people, because everyone knows that the levels of trust in a team, that's going to impact the team's output. It just is. And so it's finding something specific. So it is intangible, it's the levels of trust that we have, but showing how the intangible is really what generates the tangible. And so that's how I tend to do it. I like to have something specific that I can offer them to think about. For what it's worth, that's how I determine a great team. For me, the difference between a team and a great team is the level of relationship. Everyone knows that a team is a group of people committed to a common vision. But what people often miss is the great teams are also committed to each other, just like they're committed to the vision. And if you get that humming, everything changes. And so that's the kind of way that I do.
It works, yeah. And you have been doing it for quite many years now. Is there enough validations that people take it back after the training session is over? And
well, this is a bit like asking your hairdresser if you need a haircut.
The reason I'm asking this is because it is such a need. I mean, absolutely what you just painted the scenario, this is the reality of the organizations. If you ask the leadership, yes, trust, empathy, these are such a need, it's a common thing. But here is a right way to do it, but then most of the training programs are all everything else.
Well, yeah, so I one of my lines that I often say to HR people, get myself into trouble, is that 80% of your budget is wasted, really, because you're just telling people what they should do. And honestly, we could do it right now. We could put a flip chart here. We go, okay, what are the things that leaders should do? And we're probably going to come up with a very similar list.
Right.
They've got to create alignment. They've got to take risk. People know that.
Yeah.
You can get it from ChatGPT. What do leaders do? You can get all that. You see, that's not where the secret sauce is. The secret sauce is having people really look at their own personal voyage or their own personal journey. How are they seeing things? If it was as simple as knowing what, you just need to know what to do, it'd be a very different world out there.